We have a case. This is our justice. When you're done watching, share this story. Someone might need to hear it. Some people don't steal with their hands. They steal with paperwork, patience, and a smile you trust completely. My name is Daniel, and for 6 years, I was married to a woman I genuinely believed was my partner. We had 2 kids, a house we built together, and what I thought was a shared future. I worked in commercial construction management. Claire handled our household finances. That arrangement made sense. She had a background in bookkeeping, and I was traveling 3 weeks out of 4. It was practical. It was also the biggest mistake I ever made. The marriage started unraveling in year 5. Not dramatically, quietly. Claire became distant, guarded with her phone, oddly defensive about small things. I told myself it was stress. She'd been saying for months that my travel schedule was damaging our family. Maybe she was right. I cut back. Things didn't improve. They got colder. In March of that year, I came home early from a job site. Claire wasn't home. The kids were at school. I went to find the car insurance renewal in her desk drawer, routine, and instead found a folder. Inside was a lease agreement for an apartment across town, her name only, signed 8 months prior. I didn't confront her. I know that sounds strange, but something in me went very still. I'd seen enough contract disputes in my career to know you don't reveal what you know until you understand the full scope of what you're dealing with. I photographed every document, put the folder back exactly as I'd found it, and called a lawyer the next morning. Gary was a family law attorney with 20 years of litigation behind him. When I laid out what I'd found, his first question wasn't about the affair. He assumed there was one. His first question was, has she had access to your joint finances unsupervised? I said yes, for 6 years. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, we need a forensic accountant before we file anything. That accountant was a methodical man named Walt. Over 8 weeks, Walt went through every account, every transfer, every tax return we'd filed jointly. What he found was deliberate and patient. Starting in year 2 of our marriage, Claire had been diverting small amounts, never more than a few $100s at a time, into an account I didn't know existed. Over 6 years, it had grown to just under $190,000. The account was in her name alone, registered under a slight variation of her middle name. She had been building an exit for 4 years before I ever found that lease. When we filed for divorce, Claire moved fast. She claimed I had hidden assets. She claimed I was emotionally volatile and an absent father. She requested full custody of our children and filed a motion suggesting I had financially manipulated her throughout our marriage. It was a clean reversal of everything Walt had documented, and if I hadn't already had that documentation, it might have worked. Her attorney was skilled. For 2 months, they delayed, filed motions, and tried to exclude Walt's findings on procedural grounds. Gary held firm. When the judge denied the exclusion and ordered Claire's own accountant, a man named Dylan, who had helped her structure the account, to testify under oath, the entire case turned on a single afternoon. Dylan didn't want to be there. That much was obvious, but he had no legal protection that outweighed his obligation to testify truthfully. Under Gary's cross-examination, he confirmed the account's origins, the transfer structure, and the timeline. He confirmed Claire had told him the funds were for a family emergency reserve, and that she had specifically asked him not to list it on shared financial disclosures. The courtroom was quiet in a way I won't forget. The judge didn't deliver a dramatic speech. She simply stated that the evidence demonstrated a sustained pattern of financial deception, and that this would be weighed heavily in the division of assets and the custody determination. Claire's attorney requested a recess. The judge declined. 3 weeks later, I had primary custody of both children. The hidden account was factored into asset division. Claire retained a portion but forfeited any claim to the equity in our home. She also faced a separate civil matter regarding the fraudulent financial disclosures, which her attorney was already trying to negotiate down. I'm not going to pretend the aftermath felt like victory. My kids had questions I didn't know how to answer. The house felt too large for a while. But they were with me, and they were okay, and that was the only outcome that had ever actually mattered. Claire had spent years building something in secret. What she didn't plan for was that her own paper trail would be the most honest witness in the room. Some people never get that moment. I did, and I made sure it counted.